Step aside, Batman. Move over, Spider-Man. In this 5-minute documentary, we explore a new comic book that's spreading like wildfire. It's called Ablaze.
Ablaze is a fantasy sci-fi graphic novel written by Jonathan Napuzan and illustrated by renowned author Arjav Shah. It has gotten a lot of attention in the comic book world, selling over 3 copies since its release. It is a gripping, page-turning adventure, taking readers on a journey with their hero, Jeremiah Fox, also known as the Phoenix. We found the author and the illustrator and brought them into our studios so they can give us their take on Ablaze. We start off with Jeremiah and his sad beginning.
When he was born, his parents were taking him on a car ride one day, and they got into a car accident, and his parents didn't survive it. He didn't survive it at first, but thanks to his special abilities, he ended up doing so.
From there, Jeremiah is taken in by his uncle, Uncle Finnick.
Uncle Finnick was Jeremiah's father figure. He was the huge supporting factor in his life, his huge supporting role. He raised him, he adopted him from birth. Uncle Finnick obviously wasn't a perfect father, a perfect guardian, because he hid a lot of things from Jeremiah at first. He thought it was for his safety, but it ended up just hurting him in the future.
Jeremiah tries to live a normal life, but has no control over his powers. He is outcasted and shunned by everyone. Well, almost everyone.
Jean was his love interest, so we wanted to give him one to really show that he is human. He is human, and he unintentionally hurts people he doesn't want to, and this really scars him for life, and that's what pushes him over the edge. Well, the one suicide that's in the comic book, that was pretty controversial. It got a lot of attention from many of the fans. We really felt that needed to be in there because that was like Jeremiah's realization that there's no easy way out. He had to live with this thing. He couldn't just, boosh and be gone with it. It is something he had to live with, he had to overcome, and I feel that was a really necessary part of the comic book.
And that's where the story kicks off. When asked how the two came up with the plot and storyline, Mr. Shaw gave an interesting reply.
We both came together to create the story, and I had a dream that there was a boy with his back towards me. It was in the same forest. You might remember it from the first couple scenes of the graphic novel if you've read it. And then in the dream, there was a phoenix that rose from him, and that was basically it. But from that basic idea, I was able to help my friend Jonathan create the premise of the story. It was during algebra class where Charlie was taking attendance, and then we were just sitting, and then I didn't know that Jonathan had the same idea as I did. I wasn't about to share it because it was a dream, but then he started talking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I had the same dream. Well, I had a dream, and so we started discussing it, and everything just came together.
But this wasn't their first idea. The two originally had a whole nother story in mind for Ablaze.
We had a whole timetable of events that were going to go in, but then we eventually scratched out when I had this dream. And it was basically where we had an antagonist, Tenebris, and he would go and follow Phoenix throughout different ages, starting such as ancient Greece, the American Revolution, and then currently the 2012 modern period. And we eventually scratched it out as it wasn't really the theme it didn't really address the theme of rising that was imposed upon us by our instructor, Mr. Diamond.
We really wanted to address the theme of rising, so what we did was, first thing you think of when you think of rising, the first animal you think of is a phoenix, because when it dies, it rises from the ashes. We wanted to make the story about him rising. So if you notice the chapters, chapter 1 was the ashes, chapter 2 was rebirth, chapter 3 was rising. We created this story in a way that he would eventually, rise up above his abilities and would become able to master them, become able to control them, and become happy with them.
And of course, every comic book has its little secrets.
On every few pages or so, I included some hidden messages in some shape or form that relate to the story and to the main message of the comic book.
That's it for this 5-minute documentary. Be sure to pick up your copy of Ablaze at an ACT Comic-Con near you. And always remember,
the phoenix burns from within.
Phoenix burns from within.
The phoenix burns from within.